Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 328, where we do what we always do. What is that? I hear you cry. It's bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and with me as always is...
I said a hip, the hibbity, don't stop the rub in the band. I can't remember how it goes.
A hibbity,
That's
hibbity.
terrible.
All I heard was hibbity.
Hibbity. What you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are going to try to move your feet. Because I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello. Except my name's not Mike. My name's Barry. My name is... That doesn't work. Anyway, even though I'm Barry A.K. Nuge, and that was an awful, awful rap. So I apologize to the rap gods for what I've just done. Murdered the classic.
For what I've just done. I murdered it. You did murder it.
Yeah. Apologies, man. Sugar Hill Gang, I'm sorry.
Should be.
It's all right, man.
Let's hope they don't listen.
Fairly confident on that one.
No, man, got to think positive.
Yeah, I'm all about positivity in the middle of a global pandemic.
There you go. Should be.
It's funny, as I said that, I just heard like a siren go past. Like, I mean, Mega C1. Judges are everywhere. I mean, to be fair, we're not. You know what I realised, man? All them comics and books and stuff we used to read and post-apocalyptic. I watched a trailer for another post-apocalyptic game, and I'm like, is it post-apocalyptic or is it just current apocalyptic?
Is it current affairs? Do you know?
Is it Tuesday?
Kind of hard to tell. Yeah. I remember the first time, like first lockdown, going to Sainsbury's for the first time, and it was just like shelves empty, no people around, everyone looking at each other a bit warily. I was like, we're there, man, we're there.
Yeah.
But as someone said to me, the one thing we've learned is that even in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, Amazon would still be delivering.
Amazon, the true heroes of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
But what I still don't understand, right? And it seems to be an unspoken truth that people aren't talking about, is why is no one saying how much the head of Amazon looks like Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
He's the richest man on the planet, and he literally looks exactly like Lex Luthor.
I know,
no one's mentioned it.
There's a reason no one's mentioned it.
Yeah, because he owns everything. He owns the media. In my mind, I'm not a reporter. I don't work for any kind of media people. I mean, I'm a blogger, so maybe I should be. But like, that's a slam dunk, surely.
For real.
The Lex Luthor of Amazon. I mean, it writes itself, doesn't it?
It does. It's just, I mean, it's obvious. Do you know what I mean?
Craziness, man. Craziness. Anyway, Jeff, if you listened, I love your work, man. Don't move that pilot in death ray over my house, man.
Yeah, nothing to do with me, man. It was all Barry.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what a best friend sounds like.
That's true friendship. Because the thing is, I know you understand.
Hey, look, man. Wherever there's a bus, there's me throwing you under it. That's how I roll. No. Excuse me. No. It's all right, love. I'll do this. I'll do this for you.
Hey, look. While we're here, I just want to say, I saw this TV show on Disney Plus, and I thought, this sounds good. Let me give it a watch. And I'm watching it, going, this feels really, really, really familiar. So I watched the first episode. I thought, I quite enjoyed that, and I was like, you know what? I remember watching this episode, but I don't remember finishing. I think it only got one season.
Right.
And I don't remember finishing it. Do you remember a TV show called Flash Forward? Yeah.
So this is coming out of the new Disney acquisition. This is the Star thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it that it jumped?
So literally everybody in the entire world passed out for the exact same amount of time.
That's it, yeah.
And they all had visions, and when they started to piece it together, the vision was 6 months in the future at 10 past 2 for argument's sake. But some people didn't get visions, so they're like, what, does that mean we're dead?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I mean, it was a disaster because, like, people flying planes, they passed out. People driving, they passed out. There's the one guy on the beach and people were surfing. And, like, when the guy comes around, you can just hear people going, help them. They're all dead. They're all drowning. And it's like, you just see all these surfers, like, face down in the sea. And you're like, what? And it was just madness. And then they started to piece together that everyone had visions of 6 months into the future, and he starts a task. Then the main guy starts a task force to try and work out what's going on.
Isn't the main guy? Is it Joseph Fiennes?
It is.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Because we watched the first season. I remember actually I really enjoyed it, and then it just ended, and I was like, oh, okay.
I know. I'm not. I was like, but I'm like, did I finish it? I don't remember. I feel like I've had the opposite of a flash forward.
Yeah, that'd be a flashback, Dave. Flash means you'd still remember.
It's not quite. Yeah, it's not okay. It's I've had something very different.
You had a flash sideways. Yeah. Anywho, before we get into it, we've got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
You got any shout-outs?
Yeah, to my friend Oscar, who has got himself a new robot, and he's found out what his robot's favourite exercise is. Circuit training.
Is this going to be like just so that I know, right, for future reference, is this going to be an ongoing thing where you ask you for shout and you do some lame joke?
Oscar just
I know that,
it's not lame, man. Oscar just keeps... Oscar is literally putting these things up every week, and I'm an appreciative audience.
Is Oscar listening?
I don't know. I'll have to mention.
If you listen to Oscar, stop it. All right, stop it, because that's all lovely putting it on Facebook. I'm the one that's got to put up with this shit.
Yeah, man, I'm having a hard time at the moment. He's bringing me joy.
Mm-hmm. That bus is coming, buddy, man.
Okay.
I haven't got any. I just want to give a shout out to all the listeners, just to say, hey,
thanks.
Thanks for listening. There we go.
Yeah,
done. Covered.
Better than me.
Yeah, obviously. I think about the people that listen to this show. Do you know what I mean? And a special shout out to Anwar, who is always dropping us some fun emails. So yeah, what up, Anwar?
Up.
So, do you want to? We haven't really got any news because we couldn't find any. Obviously, there is news. It's not like there's nothing happening in the world, but we got a lot to talk about. So let's just hit it. Let's just get into the week that was.
All right, it's time for the week that was.
All right. So can I start?
Yeah.
I want to read you something. So this how it goes. Across a basin, beck or brook, a passage we will draft, a fractured terraquil, a way for you we craft, dependable and stronger still a craft of mind and hand. Across it waits for you the new, a bridge for all the land. So this comes from a comic called The Bridge Maker's Creed. Sorry, The Bridge Builder's Creed.
Oh, that looked really nice.
Yeah, so it's by Sean Daly, and he'd sent a PDF over of this because he's done a Kickstarter which successfully was funded, overfunded in fact, and it's a 170-page original graphic novel, and the blurb is: as 10 of the brightest minds in the land, the bridge builders of Terraquil travel from province to province, crafting infrastructure where it's needed most. Life was good, but then there was war. Bryant Yodel Yodelson, Terraquil's last remaining bridge builder, finds himself alone in a land he helped shape, and day by day that shape is becoming harder to recognize. When the odd creature brings with it prospects of a bright new future for Terraquil, Yodel finds himself trapped in a shade of his past. Can he and find purpose in a world that's moved on without him? Or will he learn that some bridges can't be rebuilt? Mate, you need to get on this comic. This comic was amazing. And why it was so amazing is because, effectively, like I said, it's this group of this special group of people, and they go around the land, they build bridges and stuff. So really, on the face of it, it doesn't sound that exciting. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
How exciting can bridge building be, you know? But it is such a inspirational kind of comic. And I think it's because at the moment we're having some work done on the house. So, and one of the guys who's working here at the moment, he's a carpenter. And just watching him, and carpentry's always been something I've been fascinated with because I've just never been able to. I can barely saw a little
Mate,
bit of the
you
Christmas
and me
tree. Do you know
both,
what I mean?
man. Yeah.
I've got no DIY skills. It never. This whole thing, like your father teaches you, it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Not for lack of trying from the old man. It's just I just couldn't get it. So watching this guy and the you just suggest something to him, and he all these different ideas, and watching him work, the crafting of it, and just seeing it all come together. It's a skill, and it's a trade, and it's an art. And then you sort of think to yourself that he's kind of like he's basically already past his retirement age, you know. But you think now we're in this era where more and more things are being done for us, you know, more and more things are being handed over to robots and stuff like that. And, you know, it's about this kind of art dying off, you know, and it's kind of at the crux of what this comic's about. But another way to look at it is it's almost like the main character, Yodel, almost feels to me like how you could have approached Obi-Wan. Because
Yeah.
he's effectively he's the last bridge builder in the same way that kind of you thought Obi-Wan was the last Jedi. I mean, obviously now they're popping out all the word left, right, and center. But you know, when you first see that first Star Wars film, it's just Obi-Wan. Now imagine Obi-Wan is traveling around, just trying to make sense of the fact that he's the last Jedi, and it's a much more somber piece. It's not about him kind of finding the Luke Skywalker and running off and having adventures. It is him just dealing with the fact that, you know, the people that he grew up with, his family are all gone, and it's just him, and he's got to try and craft some sort of life out of it. And that's kind of what this is. It almost feels a little bit. I can never remember what they are, but you know that there were people talk about the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like. It feels like him going through the 5 stages of grief. Now, with me saying all this, you might think it's quite a sad book, and yes, there is sadness in there, but there's also like a great deal of hope, and it really does end on a hopeful note, which is what I really loved about it. I don't want to keep going on back because we've got a lot to get through, but the artwork is lovely, and it kind of reminded me how much I love just black and white comics. You know, which is pretty much what I grew up with reading a lot of. You know, I read a lot of black and white comics, you know, and it's lovely. It's lovely. And even when there's bits where he does flashbacks and it's just pencil to show it's a flashback. So it's a fantastic read. I cannot recommend it enough. I'm not sure what's happening once the Kickstarter stuff goes out, whether or not it's still going to be available for everyone. I hope it is, and I would recommend people pick it up.
No, you kind of had me at, you know, just the thought of someone, like you said, trying to work out what happened. How come he's the last? What's the future?
I mean, you know why you kind of know why he's the last. That gets his plan. But I think you were just about to say, what does that future look like for him?
Yeah. You know? It doesn't make it any easier knowing what's happened. It's like, you know. Yeah, no, I like that. And actually, I kind of zoned out of what you were saying, not because you were boring me, but because you set my brain off on a path. And I was just wondering if they'd made an Obi-Wan film, which was just him in the lost years between the fall of the Jedi. Yeah. Because, you know, you had this feeling in the first film that it had been a long time. But when you look at when the rest of the canon started to come in, it wasn't that long. It wasn't actually enough time to forget them. Do you know what I mean? I felt like it should have been a lot longer time. And I just thought, what a great film. Just this old man just trying to find, you know, remembering the glory days, trying to figure, you know, what happens next. I like that. That's the Obi-Wan film I want to see.
If you go into it with that mindset as well, it's hard not to see that. Even the fact that they've got that creed, that's their creed. And you know, it ends with a panel of someone walking up to him and saying, "Oh, it's been a long time since I've heard the bridge builder's creed." Do you know? It's epic. This, man, it's a really, really great comic and different. Well worth checking out.
Cool. Well, I'm going to mention, excuse me, I'm going to mention a comic, and I don't think we need to spend much time on it because you've already talked about it on this show at great length. But I finally read it, and actually, just stop me if I've already talked about this before. Dr. Aparo.
You haven't.
Okay.
I mean, I have, obviously.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So, for those, do you want to explain who Dr. Aparo is? For those who haven't heard you talk about it 700 times.
But basically, she's Star Wars' answer to Indiana Jones. I would say she's Indiana Jones crossed
With no
Han
moral
Solo.
center.
Actually, take out the Han Solo. She's basically what I would say, she's the Indiana Jones that we get at the start of Raise the Lost Ark. Because in Raise the Lost Ark, Indy's quite a dark character. I would make that argument.
Okay.
He's much more adventurer than hero. He doesn't go after when people look at their confusion, he doesn't go after the Ark to stop the Nazis. He's going after the Ark because he's getting paid by the US government to bring it back, and he wants to bring it back for the archaeological importance of it, So, but she's just plainly out for herself.
But I literally am scared by the two droids that she keeps as company.
Oh man, yeah.
I've never seen a portrayal of that. Those droids are proper psychopaths. Yeah, okay, but no, I really enjoyed it. It was just different. And talk about exploring different elements of the Star Wars universe, and that did that properly.
Yeah, definitely. And
when I say that, I mean, forget different corners of the universe. I mean, different character types. That's a totally different character type to anything I've seen before in Star Wars.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with it. It's a fantastic comic. Well worth checking. Have you just read the first volume then?
I've read the first volume. Have you read more?
I've read all of them, mate.
Okay, that's a silly question, really.
I couldn't get enough of it, Shelby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moving. Before we move away to comics, to return the favour, a comic that you'd been going on about that I finally started to read, and ended up I read 2 volumes in one sitting. Was Irredeemable.
Mate, took your time.
Yeah, for people who have got, I don't want to get confused. I think it's Kindle Unlimited.
Yes, it is.
For people who've got Kindle Unlimited, it's on there, and I think there's 10 volumes on there that you can get through Kindle Unlimited.
10 volumes is all there is. That's where the story finished.
Oh, okay.
I think I read 2 or 3. So when I saw that you were reading it, I was like, oh, this. So I'm on a big kick. I'm finding myself a little bit uninterested in modern mainstream comics at the moment. So my kick was, let me go back and read those series I never finished. So I'm currently working my way through Invincible because I never finished that. I think that finished at issue 100 or something.
Right.
And next on I've got Fair Agent in my list, but next on my list was Irredeemable. So when I saw you reading that, I was like, yes. So to tell everyone what it is, imagine Superman loses his goddamn mind. Yeah, you got the one unstoppable hero and he finally comes off unhinged and just loses his shit. How do you stop a guy that can hear you from 100 miles away, that can see you from 100 miles away, that is faster than every other hero on the planet, that is stronger than every other hero on the planet? How do you stop him?
Right.
And there's a spin-off series. Do you know about it?
Yeah, because that's probably going to be next. Is it Incorruptible?
Incorruptible. So you got like the biggest villain on the planet, the biggest mastermind villain going, you know what, I may not be a hero, but if I don't do something, there's not going to be a world left to be a criminal in. So this criminal, this bad guy, this villain is stepping up because someone's got to do something.
The first 2 issues are just... Let me tell you, man, people, to me, it's the equivalent of like as you said, using the Superman analogy, it's the equivalent of the first 2 issues is basically the Justice League just running for their life.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay one step ahead of Superman. And when I say one step ahead of Superman, this ain't, because you've seen it in the comics, you've seen it in the films. Oh, Superman's gone bad. Oh, nah, this is a whole other level of evil.
Because he ain't playing.
You know, what I took away from it as well was like, when you compare, so people always say like, the Boys TV show, you look at Homelander's like Superman gone bad, blah, blah, blah. Nah. I see, I'm even getting dark now.
No, because Homelander will stop and talk to you.
Yeah. And the thing with Homelander is like, Homelander cares about his image.
Yeah.
So he's doing that business undercover. He's taking people out undercover. He don't want people to find out because he wants people to kind of love him and all that. This guy is is it the Plutonian? Is that what it's called?
Plutonium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't give a damn.
But it's really interesting because it's stuff like, because you start to look at a bit of his motivation. You think, who says a hero has to be, mentally stable?
Yeah.
There's no law that says just because someone's, a hero, they can be mentally stable. Also, imagine having super hearing that you can't turn off and you hear everything that someone's saying behind your back. Everything.
They do that so well. They
Yeah.
do that. And I think what I quite like about it is they don't pull that gun too soon.
Mm.
The first volume, I basically would just call that, Irredeemable Volume 1, running for your goddamn life. That's basically Volume 1. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Volume 2, you start to get into a little bit more of his motivation coming from. Now, let me just say this straight out, kids. Killing millions of people, because millions of people do die, right? Killing millions of people is wrong. I just want to say that straight out the bat before I say what I'm going to say.
Good to know.
However, I can understand why he would start to struggle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not as clear cut as
it's that whole thing that, you know what? The higher you are, the further you've got to fall.
Yeah. Wow. All I'll say is there's a scene in the where he kind of goes to talk to United Nations. Wow. I wanted to finish Invincible before the cartoon came out, but now I'm like, you just got me all excited to the point where I looked up reading order, because I was like, I could read Irredeemable, I could then Incorruptible, but actually they interweave. So I want to know which one. Do they?
Yeah. So it's worth looking up a reading order for Irredeemable and seeing what comes where. Okay,
I hope they do it with the volumes as well, though, because I'm reading it volumes, so I haven't got the.
Yeah, they do. They do it by volumes.
Okay, I will do that then. So that's don't want to keep going. Irredeemable. It's by
There's 10 trades. Mark Waid.
Mark Waid, isn't it?
There's 10 trades of Irredeemable and 7 of Incorruptible.
You know who did the art on that?
Yeah, it was an artist.
Thanks, Dave. Peter Krause and Diego Barreto, and it's published by Boom Studios.
Yeah, I love Boom. Boom went through this period where I was like, they were just turning out quality all the time.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's so good. It's so good. Right.
I've got a book.
Yep.
So I've been. Oh, thanks. I've been being told about this book for so long. And eventually I suddenly realized I had it on my shelf, and I don't remember buying it, but I must have done, because it's not even digital. It's actually a physical copy on my shelf. It's like, did someone send me it to review? What? I don't know. It's called The Fifth Season, and it's by N.K. Jemisin. Won the Hugo Award in 2016. And it's the first in a trilogy. I think it's called the Broken Earth series. And it's damn, man. So you kind of get the impression this is Earth in the far future, but there's no science fiction going on. Right. It's like a fantasy. So basically, it's like the Earth has gone, do you know what? I'm just fed up of all of this. So anytime there's a tremor, I'm just gonna go for it. And the Earth's got tremors going all the time, and some of them, so they call it, so when the Earth properly goes for it, they call it a season. Right. And it basically F's up the land. Yeah. So there's just one big landmass. There's one big continent. And when you have a season that it's messed up, and it could be a season of acid rain, it could be a season of earthquakes, it could be, and basically everyone kind of gets into these communities, because if you're outside of a community during a season, you're basically done.
Right.
Yeah, unless you become some kind of cannibal bandit or something.
Cannibal bandit.
Yeah, I was like, hey, and the thing is, there may be other lands, yeah, but no one's going to see, because you don't know when a tremor's going to set off a tidal wave or something. And it's like, there's one bit when a character visits a seaside town, and they're like, wow, they're brave, because they're living by the sea. Do you know what I mean? Because, this city stood for 10 seasons. Really? Wow, they must have got something going on. Do you know what I mean? But there's also these there's these people who are able to sense they're called origins, and they're able to sense the earth tremors and whatever, and they can control it. And they're pretty much hated because they can, if they don't control their powers, they can cause hundreds of deaths by, causing earthquakes and stuff. But ironically, they're the only people that can stop an earthquake.
Right.
So they started this thing called the Fulcrum, which trains people to make use of their powers, but they're also got the Guardians. So if you take a step wrong, the Guardians will mess you up. Yeah, they're trained to mess up the origins.
This is ringing a bell to me. Not that I've read it, but someone's recommended this to me. Sorry, go, man.
No, but it's just a really good exploration of the world, and it follows 3 women who are different ages and in different parts of the world, and all 3 women are origins, but in different ways, in different places and different levels of power and so on, and different levels of, one's really young and stuff. And it's just fascinating. And it has this twist. And I saw the twist coming just before it hit. And I was like, damn, that's nice. Damn, that's nice. So, yeah. And it's like, I've got to the end of the first novel and you're like, the season that is about to hit is going to be a doozy, and I don't know how anyone's going to survive that one, because and then you realize it was done on purpose. I mean, that happens in the first page of the book.
Okay.
Someone kicks off the 5th season, and first page of book says, it's not really a spoiler, and then the consequences happen, and it's just a really good read. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. 5th season. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Looking forward to the sequels, the Obelisk Gate and the Stone Sky.
Some good titles, man. Because I'm currently reading Poison Song, which is the 3rd book trilogy, the Willow in Flame trilogy, which is it's by Jen Williams.
I know Jen.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, good books, man. Far too many, far too many creepy crawlies. And maybe if I'd known that going in, I might not have picked it up. But I'm kind of committed now. Do you know what I mean?
I've just started Adrian Tchaikovsky's sequel to his Intelligent Spiders. Thing.
Yeah, it's
now we've got Intelligent Octopi, whatever they are.
I could do with Intelligent Octopus. That's all right.
Yeah, too many tentacles, man. Tentacles.
I could deal with that, man. Do you know what I mean? It's a buddy cop movie waiting to be made, man.
Tentacles, man.
Anyway, I recently watched the 2nd season of a cartoon on Netflix which is a spin-off from the Jurassic Park films, more importantly, the newer Jurassic Park films. And this is Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, Cretaceous.
So it's basically set around 5 teenagers, who they get this kind of once in a lifetime experience to come to the park, have a look around, blah blah blah. It's basically this new bit of the park they're going to open up called Camp Creation. It's like it's like a summer camp, but obviously with dinosaurs. And in typical Jurassic Park fashion, it all goes wrong and kicks off. Seriously, I don't know why people keep still putting money to build Jurassic Parks, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
How many times
it don't work? Do you know what I mean? So you've got Darius, who's kind of like a dinosaur fanatic. You've got Ben, he's like the shy one. You've got Yaz, she's like the athletic one. You've got Brooklyn, she's like a sort of blogger. You've got Kenji, he's like the sort of rich kid. And you've got
all the archetypes there.
You've got kind of like all the archetypes. And I went into it going, oh, okay, give it a go, because some people said to me it's quite good. Let me tell you what's man, it's really, really good fun, to the point of I prefer these to the new films. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen any of the new films. I just didn't fancy them.
Yeah, you're not missing much. Because my problem is that it's built on shaky ground, because the first Jurassic Park was so good,
Yeah.
right? And it went so wrong at Jurassic Park that I cannot believe that people would go back to the idea of like populating an island with dinosaurs and invited. You need to tell me, right? If I heard about Jurassic Park first time around, 10 years later, we'll open up a new Jurassic Park. Come along. Nah, you're right, man.
See, I had to tell myself that it was when the new movies came on, I had to tell myself it was a reboot. Was it a reboot? Because I was like, I couldn't believe it. No, I couldn't believe that. It just didn't make any sense that this would be happening again.
Now people are going to pay good money to go and get eaten, because that's what you're doing.
Because that's what you're doing.
But what I liked about this, even though it's obviously it's aimed at sort of kids, there's serious consequences in this show, right? Not so people die, and I was surprised. I genuinely was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised, because I was like, well, that person we met. Oh, okay, no, that person's dead. Okay, that person's dead. Yeah, so there's which creates real tension with the kids and stuff, Well,
it would.
It would, yeah. But what the dinosaurs have done really well. There's moments they even managed to get moments of grandeur in it as well, because it's got really good music in there as well. It's the kids are all likable, but they've all got their little quirks, and they kind of fall in and out with each other and stuff. But when things kick off and they got to come together, they come together. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I would recommend people check it out if you're looking for it. If you're jonesing for a bit of Jurassic Park but don't necessarily want to go and check out the newer films, I would say this will set you up nicely.
Nice. Okay. I'm just wondering if it's something I could get my kids into. At least the eldest one, anyway.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that you said eldest, because
it's just hard. It's just hard to separate them. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
I showed them the I showed them the trailer for Aliens yesterday.
As in the film.
Yeah.
How'd that go, Dad?
Well, I won't be showing them the movie. Put it that way.
And to be honest, that's the easier of the two.
I know. Yeah. I think I might show the Lana Alien as well after that. So we'll be leaving that for now.
Yeah, maybe try character. What I'd say is have a watch of the trailer, and I think there should be enough in there to make the judgment call for yourself.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Cool. So I watched the movie, and I haven't finished watching it yet. And it's not because I'm not enjoying it. It's just because my life and trying to fit the time in, and no one else is watching it with me. So I've got to fit it in when I can. It's like my wife went out for a walk with a friend, and I'd got the kids in bed, and I was like, she'd probably be gone for another 25 minutes. I've got 25 more minutes I could get in. And it's called Valentine the Dark Avenger.
Oh, I've not heard of this.
No, was it Disney? I saw it on, Amazon. Oh, it's on Amazon. I'm sure it is. So I'm like, I looked at it and I thought, this looks interesting. I looked at the trailer and I went, I want to give this a go. And it's about this film director. He wants to make a superhero movie.
Right.
Because this city, Batlava City or something like that, and it's just full of crime, and he wants to make a movie about a superhero called Valentine the Dark Avenger, who is a girl, and he wants to inspire young girls and people, give them something positive. And basically all the studios are like, nah, you're full of crap, get out, basically. So he's called up his friend and he's going, look, I need to find someone, a girl. His friend kind of runs a model agency, I think, because I need a girl that's really good looking and does martial arts. And this is where it gets a bit harsh. Because the dude is like, what about this one? She's beautiful. What about that one? She goes, beautiful. Because can they do martial arts? Because, nah. Well, I want something martial arts. See this one? She can kick ass, but she ugly. See this one? She can kick ass, but she ugly. I was like, damn, that's...
Wow.
That's like... So once he got past that, they're sitting in this cafe and this girl's getting manhandled, and the waitress just comes up and when I say deals with these two men, wipes them out. And the dude is like, I think we found our Valentine. So she convinces them they're going to make a movie, but the only way to get that movie made is if she dresses up and actually goes out and fights crime.
Okay.
And then it all gets out of hand because like the supervillain called a Shadow says like, right, we've got to deal with her. But so I looked it up. This girl, it's like her first major role. Before filming, she spent a year studying with 4 different martial artists, masters, learning 4 different martial arts.
So basically, she did a Bruce Wayne.
Well, you watch it and you go, she's doing it all herself,
right?
And it's good. The action is good, man. And I was like, the action is good. So this is an Indonesian movie.
Okay.
So it ain't got it's got what is a big budget for Indonesia.
Yeah.
But it's no Marvel. But to me, that doesn't take away from it at all. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Some of the dialogue is a bit, but apart from that, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So the one thing that lets it down I'm halfway through, and there's one thing that lets it down for me. So when I realized it was Indonesian, I was like, right, I'm going to turn subtitles on and listen to it because the dubbing ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the dubbing is the actual cast dubbing themselves. But it's just not working because sometimes the English doesn't quite work. The way it's been translated doesn't quite work. The timing doesn't quite work, and it just is distracting.
Right.
But they didn't make it with subtitles. You got no choice but to watch the dubbing.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, what, just choice. Give us a choice, man.
Yeah. Because I think there was something I'd been watching the other day, and we were going to turn off and we couldn't. And then there was something else we watched. We watched this thing called Call My. It's not really a geeky thing, but it's a thing called Call My Agent.
Yeah, seen that. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I've seen it.
It's quite funny. I think you'd probably get a kick out of it because it's all about agents. Basically.
I watched the trailer for that. I did think that looked quite good.
Yeah. The downside is it's an hour. It's like 50 minutes an episode, but it is only 6 episodes. Mm-hmm. A season. We've watched nearly the first season. It's quite fun. It's quite funny, but there's no way I could have watched it dubbed.
Right. The
comedy drops because obviously you see the subtitles, but because you can hear them, it's the inflection. It's the
and it's.
You get what I'm saying?
It feels. I might be overstating it, but it feels uncomfortable because you're watching it and it just doesn't quite settle.
There's some stuff that don't bother me. There's something that doesn't bother me watching dubbed. I'm okay with it. But there's other ones where I'm kind of like, no, I feel like I need to watch this undubbed. And certainly that was one of them. And I think Ministerio di Tempo was another one.
Yeah.
You just got something a bit more from it. You got their performance. I think you just got more of their performance. But anyway.
So just to finish off, Valentine, Dark Avenger. So apparently it's from something called Skylar Studios, which is a whole comic range.
Oh, okay.
And so they're looking, look, is this... So I saw some articles going, is this the introduction of a new sort of superhero universe on the silver screen? And I was like, if it is, I'll be interested. I'm interested.
Right,
I went to try and look for it, but the only site I found was just purely in Indonesian. So I was like, okay, right. I've got no clue what's going on. But the main character, she worked hard, man. I was impressed.
Okay, I'm on that, man. I'll check that out, man.
Mm. So, have you watched Superman and Lois?
Yeah, I talked about it in the video one.
Oh yeah. Oh right, so I've watched it since then. Of course you did. Yeah. So I've watched Superman and Lois now. I really enjoyed it because I think it's the kind of thing I've been asking for years. Let's move things on. Do you know what I mean? And they've done it.
Yeah.
Give the Superman a family life. We're giving him kids. This stuff happens in real life. Do you know what I mean? Peter Parker gets married. He moves on. He's not a kid anymore. We love Peter Parker as a teenage superhero. He moved on. Let the universe move on. And they've done it. And just handling I get frustrated because I'm like, obviously hasn't handled being a father very well. And it's like, dude, can you not see what was coming? Can you not see? And my main concern was exactly what you said, how the kids handling it. Because if it was my dad, I'd be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the way they built up, especially,
Yeah.
then I was like,
John?
I can't remember now. It kind of made sense because I kind of feel with that kid, no matter what happened, he wouldn't be having it.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I know that. I mean, I still stand by that kind of if it was my dad, but they did set it up.
Yeah. If I was the other brother, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be like, what's your problem, man? This is cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's typical John, man. He's always moody about something, man.
I think it's great, Dad.
Yeah, Joey, don't ignore him.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fractious relationship between the two of them. It wasn't like we hate each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're just different.
We're just different.
We're just different. Do you know what I mean? And I like that. I thought that was done okay. So I was like, all right, But like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought, you see what I mean about the budget?
Yes. Yeah.
They got money, man.
And then I was like, it's quite a meditative piece. It's not like loads of action. And then, then the end come along, and I was like, I was saying there wasn't much action, and then like, bam!
That was a fight. I don't want to spoil it for people because a lot of people won't have seen it, but yeah, it does kick off a bit at the end.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I get why they're doing it. The whole, setting things up with Morgan Edge, and I'm like, it does feel like ground we've trodden a lot. Superman versus the business mogul who's got plans and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we've been there before, and I did find a little bit inside myself was going, okay, let's just see what happens. So I'm willing to go with it, but yeah, and I'm interested to see who the other villain actually is as well. So. Yeah, no, I thought it was a good start. I'm quite interested to see what happens.
It was solid.
Yeah. So we were moving into our Marvel main. We were just going to talk. Initially, we were going to talk about your journey through the watching Marvel films chronologically, which is what I want to do. But there was a couple of things to mention first. And we just wanted to talk about, WandaVision, the finale's come out. But I also wanted to mention, I watched Spider-Man Far From Home for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed it. Quite funny, whatever. But the reason I wanted to talk about it was I was just really struck by the difference in how they portrayed people coming back after the Thanos snap. Because in Spider-Man Far From Home, it was quite funny. People were like, what? I can't believe this. What? This guy was like really small. Now he's like a grown up and blah, 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 blah. Quite funny. And then in WandaVision, they kind of did the same thing from Monica, what's her name's? Monica Rambeau's perspective. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't funny. It was quite, wow.
It was like a disaster movie.
Yeah. And I just thought that was a really nice way to weave those two things together and just explore it in different ways, actually. And I'm just getting, and I actually, once Infinity War was done, I was like, I can't see where, Marvel's done. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not that bothered in watching it. I feel like I've come to a stop. I'm not that bothered watching anything else. But having watched WandaVision, having seen where they've wrapped themes together from Spider-Man Far From Home as well, and themes for what's coming, I'm like, oh, damn you, Marvel. You got me again.
Yeah. I mean, what they did with one, and we're obviously choosing it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
No.
What they did with WandaVision was effectively they gave you a comic trade.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was. It was basically a comic trade as a TV show. It was, or another way to look at it, it was like, was it 8 episodes or was it 9 episodes? I can't remember now.
No.
It was something like that. But however long it was, let's say it was 9. You basically got like, I think it works out to about 8 hours worth of, you got 8-hour Marvel film. It's a film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That leads in to setting up other stuff. It's genius, man. It was, I tell you, the way they wrapped it up and what it left you hungry, right? And say what you want about, you know what I mean, Marvel and Disney, and you know they're making money over fist, and they're taking over everything, and yes, is the answer to all of that, but you can't fault their business acumen because they're nailing it. Because it's like, so WandaVision's finished, everyone's still talking about, I can't get my head over this happened, what happened, blah blah blah, and then we got like what, a week
before we're back in
to catch our breath, and then we're into like Bucky and the Falcon, or whatever it's called. Do you know what I mean? I'm calling it Bucky. I'm calling it Bucky and the Falcon. They can call it whatever they want. To me, it's Bucky and the Falcon, which I believe works far better. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you.
So you got Bucky and the Falcon, and I saw a trailer for that, and it feels like it's a completely different vibe. It feels like I'm watching a buddy cop film.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe, and fight and action wise, which I think is a clever. It feels like it's in the same wheelhouse as Winter Soldier, and that's a good wheelhouse to be
in. Yeah. Also, I mean, I was just looking at the color palette of the trailers I've seen, kind of puts it there as well.
Yeah,
which is a really interesting, just attention to detail there. And it's like, it's not more of the same. It's completely different to what we've just been watching. It's like, I don't know.
And yet Loki follows afterwards, doesn't it? I think Loki comes after that.
And it's going to be completely different again.
I think that will be completely different. I think that will be much more mind-bending, time-bending, and with Loki at the heart of it, more irreverent. Do you know what I mean? More humor-based, maybe. I don't know. But humor in a different way. I think what you'll get from this one is more banter, you know what I mean? So no, Marvel, man. Fair play to you, man. Fair play.
And, as excited as I am for Justice League, DC, there's some lessons to be learned, DC. There really are.
The problem with DC, not even the problem with DC. The sad thing about DC is like DC Animation Studio are like nailing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm liking the HBO output as well.
Yeah, but what it needs is a see, and I'm gonna laugh. What it needs is a coherent, some sort of coherence. Maybe their channel, their own sort of network. Oh yeah, DC Universe. What happened to that?
Yeah,
yeah, you could talk about it then.
Yeah, but yeah, how are you finding watching? And this is what I'm going to do. How are you finding watching the Marvel movies in chronological order as opposed to production order?
Yeah, so we started a little while ago. So basically, what we're doing is every Sunday, just Sundays, we're watching a Marvel movie. Although last Sunday we did 2, and we are currently we watched 4 last week. So we've got. So next up is Avengers, which I'm really looking forward to because I think I've seen Avengers twice. So first off, what I realized was I've only ever seen a lot of the Marvel movies once all the way through. So actually, I won't go through all of them. I'll just cherry pick a few points. So Captain Marvel, which is, I think, split. I have to say, second time around, I enjoyed it much more. And the reason I enjoyed it much more was because I watched it in the spot it needed to be in.
Right. That's interesting.
Right, because, and I'll just say for people now, I am going to spoil Marvel films, so if you haven't watched any of them, skip on.
Are you watching the shorts?
No.
Okay.
No. And there's other interesting thing. When we watched, and this is why I think it was slightly confusing. I believe that Captain Marvel should have come before Captain America. Reason being, Captain Marvel's in the 90s, right? And it kind of ends with, Nick Fury coming up with the Avengers Initiative. Yeah, and him saying to Carl, and this is good, and it's brilliant because he's saying to Coulson, look, man, things kicked off. We need to be prepared. We can't rely on her because she's on the other end of the universe now, just setting up that she's so far away she can't get back, right? So we need to find people here and now that can respond to threats. So I'm like, boom, setting up your Avengers initiative. Okay. When you get to Captain America actually starts in the present day. It starts with them finding Captain America,
Right.
and then it flashes back, and then at the end of Captain America, it goes back to modern day.
If you were being serious, what you should have done was done that, split it up, and watched it like that.
Yeah. No. Also, we didn't the after credit scene in Captain America kind of is a bit jarring because it kind of leads into the Avengers a little bit.
Right.
So we then decided, like, until we got to, I think after that it was all right actually, but we kind of decided to kind of try to sort of not watch the after credits unless we needed to in terms of the story. And it turned out actually it didn't take long before we were okay. So Captain Marvel I enjoyed a lot more because of the setup. Because then we move into Iron Man, Coulson's in there. When Nick Fury turns up at the end of Iron Man, even though it was an oh my god moment first time around, this time around, because you've had the Captain Marvel thing, it's even more for me because I'm like, oh, okay, because he's already done it. This is what he's trying to run now. He's trying to get it all going, and this is the first recruit now. Or the second recruit because he's recruited Captain America. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. So like, I was loving that. The two Iron Man movies, they're enjoyable. I had fun with them.
I remember thinking that I kind of did a little resigned sigh in my head at watching the second Iron Man movie.
The problem with the second Iron Man movie is twofold. One, Tony Stark he's just a dick. There ain't no other way to shoot. He's just a dick, and he starts off as a dick, and by the end of the film, he's still kind of a dick, really. And you don't really, to me, I could be wrong, but to me, I don't really feel like he learned anything. He certainly didn't apologize for none of his behavior in the film. And it seemed like he just won. And he got a medal for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, and I felt the villains were awful. But the setup for the Mickey Rourke villain, dude with the whips, see, I can't remember the guy's name. Do you know what I mean? The setup could have been much better if you'd been braver. If you'd been as brave as what they did with Civil War and the reasoning behind Civil War, because that's brave to sort of turn around and go, basically, it's Bucky that's taken out his folks. That's a brave move. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like the setup with basically it was the guy's dad had worked with Tony's dad on the arc reactor, and then the way the Russian guy, the way the villain sees it was that his dad got screwed over. But then they kind of conveniently explained, oh no, his dad was dodgy and was kind of like double crossing his dad, so he got shipped back to like Russia, so that made it okay. But I feel it would have been a braver move had it been that Tony's dad had kind of screwed him over a little bit, and Tony needed to kind of almost make up for it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? There was more he could go with it, but he just became kind of cookie cutter villain. And don't even get me started on the Justin Hammond dude or whatever the hell his name was. Justin Hammond. He just awful, man. Just awful. But it was fun. You know what I mean? It was fun. I didn't consider it time wasted. It was enjoyable.
Okay.
Right. Now the thing I want to spend time on is 4. What I realised was...
Go on. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Now, you know 4 is my man from comics from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
What I realised was I've only seen that film once.
The first one, the original?
Yeah, the original. I only seen that film once at the cinema. This is my second proper viewing of 4.
Really?
Right? And when I sat down to watch this film once, after about 20 minutes, I was thinking, I don't remember this film being as epic as it was.
Right? As
Shakespearean as it was. There's a piece in that film where, like, when Odin kind of strips him of his... Him and Thor are arguing, and he's like, you're a vain, selfish boy. He's like, you are... And he said, and you are a greedy old man or something like that. It's a proper argument. And he strips him of his power and casts him back to Earth, and then he kind of throws the hammer and does that little whisper, like, if he be worthy of the power of Thor, he'll wield his hammer, and sends the hammer after him. Mate, that film was...
Because you weren't that impressed first time round.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I enjoyed it, but I was like, second time around once, I was like, I'd want to go back in time and slap that bro. I don't know what kind of Kool-Aid he was drinking, because it was the setup was epic. Loki manipulating stuff. The way they dropped him at the beginning, you didn't really check that he was manipulating. You just thought he was part of the crew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And what I loved, and normally I don't like the take someone from a mythical land that I love and stick them on Earth. Normally I'm like, oh, I'm out. But the way they did it with Thor, I was just talking to Anne about this, was really good, because, and this is where I'll go into like how disappointed I am with what they've done with Thor later, is that there's a scene in Thor which is shouting all the trailers where like they're in like a coffee shop or something, and he drinks the coffee, goes, oh, I love this drink, and he throws it on the floor and he's like, another. And it's funny, right? But Natalie Portman, Jane Foster turns to him and sort of says, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? And in her, you can't do that, you know. And he turns and goes, oh, I meant no disrespect. And that drops because the comedy it's not written to be comedic. Does the comedy comes out of the situation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the comedy in this film works. It comes out of a situation. Thor is he's noble and he's heroic, but he's arrogant. He's not an arsehole like Tony Stark. He's just noble, heroic, you know what I mean? He just wants to get in and get the business done. And when he gets sent to Earth, he has to learn, like humility. And he learns that himself. No one really tells him that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
He doesn't have, there's no guide, there's no like character to sort of go like, you know what I mean? You're a bastard, sort your stuff out. And it really comes to a head when he gets to the hammer. That's his moment where he kind of realizes, I've been doing things all wrong. You know what I mean? He started along that journey, but the hammer kind of solidifies it. He's like, I need to sort myself out. But he's sorting himself out because he needs to, not because he wants the hammer back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the bit which I thought originally was cheesy, so the bit where he kind of just walks up to says to his brother, like, if it will end it, take my life, and he just backhands him, and he's like, it's okay, I can die, and then the hammer comes, which is a boom scene. It fits. That's what I realized. And at the end, when he's talking to his dad, and he's like, I hope one day I'll be worthy of your respect, and he's like, and he sort of said, you already are, type thing. He still doesn't see himself as worthy. You know what I mean? And that gives him his nobility. So I was just like, you know what, man, I really underrated that film.
Where have you got up to in your watch so far?
4 was the last. Oh no, does Iron Man 2 come?
Iron Man 2's before Thor.
Yeah. So 4 was the last. Yeah, so
I only ask because I'm interested in what happens next with the next Thor films.
Yeah.
Because as the comedy increases, you got increasingly more you kind of resigned acceptance, I think. So I'm interested to see what happens next time round.
Yeah, because I get, and I know a lot of people like what they did with Thor, and Thor still has he has moments of nobility, and he's still a noble character in some ways, but he just becomes more almost like Star-Lord with a hammer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he even looks, he just looks different. He's got a different bearing as well, and yeah, no, I loved it, man. I loved it. And I thought everyone's performances were great. And I thought Loki was brilliant. I thought the Warriors 3 or 4, however many are, they were really good. I thought my boy,
Heimdall.
Yeah, Idris Elba, Heimdall.
Yeah.
He was wicked. With the limited time he had, but he was wicked, and it established pretty early on that he's supposed to be he's a lot more powerful than we give him credit for.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Takes some real power to open the gate, I guess.
Yeah. No, I thought it was, and going through was the other thing. It's like a lot of time I was nodding, going, you know what? The effects hold up pretty well.
Okay, all right.
The effects in 4, I thought it held up pretty well. No, that was probably my standout surprise. I have to say, was how much I enjoyed Thor second time around.
Okay.
So far, the rest of them have been pretty. My enjoyment has been in what I expected going in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Captain America, I've seen the first Captain America quite a few times, so I kind of knew what I was getting there. But yeah, the world building is great watching it this way, just seeing it slowly come together. And watching it with Sue, who doesn't remember stuff like this, and pointing things out to her, and her sort of and properly being invested. And go, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That is such and such. And me go, you need to watch that guy, because in the second Iron Man film, right? Because I didn't realize Coulson was in it as much as he was in both films.
I remember Coulson's first appearance, thinking that dude's cool.
Yeah.
Little do we know how cool.
Little do we know, man. But there's another guy in there, and I'm like, you know, the guy in he's the guy in Endgame that Captain America goes Hell Hydra to, like whispers it to him when they get into the elevator.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was in like Iron Man 2.
Yeah. He's you know what I mean. He's almost as integral as Coulson is.
Yeah, so
and I swear he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a little bit.
He might be, you know. So that's what I'm loving. I'm loving seeing all that stuff. Sort of second time around, yeah, it's great. I would say to the thing with the first time, man, I still say that the line, man, where the villain dude Obadiah comes in and he says to the guy, right, where are we progress wise? He's like, yeah, we're sort of struggling. What do you mean you're struggling? He said, yeah, we can't reproduce the tech. We can't reproduce and he's just like, Tony Stark did this in a cave with scraps. That line, man, just kills me, man. Yeah. And the bloke is just like, I'm not Tony Stark. I was like, wow, boy, yeah, you sure not.
Yeah, for real.
And yeah, that's I suppose in one respect, what I quite like about what I'm taking away from like Tony Stark's character, what I quite like is his arc is much longer. Looking back on it now, it's
gonna make what happens at the end of Infinity War quite poignant, I think.
I mean, or Endgame.
Endgame, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. In many ways, his character arc is all of these phases. That's his character arc, because he's still that kind of cockiness, but he's a much more heroic character when we get towards the end than he is here. And I think you set up Iron Man as almost a sort of go, he has his character and then he's a good guy, and he's still working the kinks out. But yeah, I would thoroughly recommend people do this if you've got the time. Just pick a day or an evening and just watch them.
Yeah, I really want to.
I think the thing is as well, which is what we had to is that I always thought when I was going to do it, I'll just start rinsing films. Like I'll just watch them. But whenever I thought about that, it just felt too much. But just saying, we'll just watch one every Sunday. If it takes the year, don't matter. Or half a year, don't matter. Feels better. However, once I started watching them, I'm like, come on, I want to get to the next one.
It's like, yeah. So there you have it, people. You can get in touch and let us know if you think we were talking nonsense or we were spot on. And you can do it by emailing us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, all of them, their places. Don't forget the website, geeksyndicate.co.uk. And thank you for those who've been supporting us on Ko-fi.com and Patreon. Please continue to do so. We mostly appreciate that. It really does help keep us afloat. So till next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.